Hello, my name is Dr. Yaya Sissoko. Today we are going to talk about Chapter 10, Private Solution to Externality. So what do you mean by private solution to externality? We mean that we don't necessarily need government involvement to correct externality. There are several types of private solution to externality. One of them is moral code and social sanctions. For, for instance, most people do not litter. Although there are laws against littering, these laws are not vigorously enforced. Most people choose not to litter because it's the wrong thing to do. The golden rule taught to most kids say do unto others as they will them do unto you. This moral injection tell us to take into account how our action affect other people, and in economic terms, it tells us to internalize externality. Another private solutions to externality is charity. So, so charity involvement, for instance, Sierra Club, which uh, which goal is to protect the environment, is a non-profit organization funded by with private donation. So another example is colleges and universities receive gifts for alumni, corporation, and foundation in part because education has a positive externality for society. The government encourages this private solution to externality through the tax system by allowing an income tax deduction for charitable donation. So, so the private market can often solve the problem of externality by relying on the self-interest of all the parties. So integrating different type of businesses, for instance, business can merge if they have a common interest. So, for instance, consider an apple grower and a beekeeper who are located next to each other. Each business confer a positive externality on the other by pollinating the flowers on the tree. The bees help the orchard produce apples. At the same time, the bees use the nectar they get from the apple trees to produce honey. Nonetheless, when the apple grower is deciding how many trees to plant and the keeper is deciding how many bees to keep, they neglect the positive externality. As a result, the apple grower plants too few trees and the beekeeper keep too few, bees. This externality could be internalized if the beekeeper bought the apple orchard or the apple grower bought the bees. If both activities then could take place within the same firm. Okay, and one single firm could choose the optimal number of trees and bees. So, hmm, another reason also for the private solution deal with external effect, to the interested party to enter into a contract. They can also enter into a contract. The contract can specify the number of trees and the number of bees. And perhaps a payment from one party to the other party. By setting the right number of trees and bees, the contract can solve the inefficiency that normally arises from this externality and make both parties better off. So to see how private solution to externality can work, let's talk about the Coase theorem 1960. Ronald Coase 1910-2013 published a brilliant paper in 1960 in which it talk about the Coase theorem, and also another paper they published earlier in 1937. Those two papers earned him, also a Nobel Prize in Economics in 1991. Ronald Coase was a professor at the University of Chicago. So he said that the Coase theorem said that if private party can bargain without cost over the allocation of resources, they can solve the problem of externality on their own. Yeah. For instance, consider so two neighbors, Dick and Jane. Dick owned a dog named Spot, and the Spot barked and disturbed Jane. So mm, Dick get a benefit for owning the dog, but the dog conferred a negative externality, on Jane. Should Dick be forced to send Spot to the pond, or should Jane have to suffer sleepless night because of Spot, bargaining? So whatever the initial distribution of right are, so interested party can reach a bargain in which everyone is better off and the outcome is efficient. So let's see how this could work out between Dick and his neighbor Jane, for instance. Consider first what outcome is socially efficient. A social planner, considering the two alternatives, will compare the benefit that Dick gets from the dog to the cost that Jane bears from the barking. If the benefit exceeds the cost, it's efficient for Dick to keep the dog and for Jane to live with the barking. Yet if the cost exceeds the benefit, then Dick should get rid of the dog. So Dick has, let's for instance in the first alternative, let's assume that Dick has the legal right to keep a bargain dog. So Dick get a 500 benefit from the dog. Jane bear an 800 cost from the barking dog. So therefore, the efficient outcome here in this case would be Jane can offer Dick a $600 to get rid of the dog, and Dick will gladly accept those $600 because the benefit here, the offer $600 is greater than the $500 that Dick get from the dog. Let's still keep the first alternative solution where Dick has the legal right to keep a bargaining dog. Mm, So it is possible, of course, that Jane will not be willing to offer any price that Dick would accept. For instance, suppose that Dick gets $1,000 benefit from the dog. Jane bear an $800 cost from the bargaining. So an efficient outcome would be Jane, Dick turned down any offer below $1,000. Jane will not offer any amount above, so 800. So Dick will keep the dog. So, so far we have assumed that Dick has the legal right to keep a bargaining dog. In other words, so we have assumed that Dick can keep Spot unless Jane pay him enough to induce him to give up the dog voluntarily. But however, different would the outcome be if Jane had the legal right to peace and quiet. In the second alternative solution, let's assume that Jane can legally compel Dick to get rid of the dog, in which case Dick can offer to pay Jane to allow him to keep the dog if the benefit of the dog to Dick exceed the cost of the bargaining to Jane. Then Jane and Dick and Jane will strike a bargaining deal in which Dick keep the dog. So let me ask you the following question: Does Cole's theorem works? The answer is no. In other words, why private solutions do not always work? One of the reasons is high transaction costs. If the bargaining involve high transaction costs, then so uh, there is no private solution. Transaction costs are known as costs that party incur in the process of agreeing to and following through on a bargaining. For instance, it could be, verbal agreement that, we agree on something, but how are you going to enforce that verbal agreement? So one of the party can back off from the agreement. So in order to be able to enforce that, then maybe you can have a legal document, so the party might hire so a lawyer to draft a contract that both parties will sign, but hiring a lawyer is very costly. So who's going to pay the lawyer fees? That's also another issue. So in which case then high transaction costs, so would will will make sure that there is no efficient solution to the externality. Another reason that bargaining simply also break down if we have large number of interested parties. If you have a lot of people bargaining, so interested in on providing private solution to externality, then the solution might not happen. Private solution might not happen because it's very costly, to coordinate, so everyone, so interesting, for having, so everyone benefit higher than everyone cost might be almost impossible, in which case there might not be private solution. And more often, if there is no private solution, then the government will step in and try to resolve the matter. So that's why sometimes Coase theorem might not apply to every cases. This is the end of chapter 10. Thank you.